to talk with the President and Cory Aquino. Opposition's Pimentel hits Reagan's action as blatant interference. Government troops capture a communist bastion in Misamis Oriental. A major spy exchange takes place in Berlin. February 7 elections in the Philippines is the business of the Filipino people and not the United States. President Reagan made this statement at a news conference in Washington shortly after meeting with the observer group led by Senator Richard Lugar. Reagan quoted Lugar as saying that there was appearance of fraud, but the group did not have hard evidence beyond that of general appearances. Reagan said Lugar's group will not submit an official report until the counting of votes has been finished. Reagan also reiterated the importance of U.S. military facilities in the Philippines.
Government in the Philippines is going to be the business of the Philippine people, not the United States. And we are going to try and continue, as I said before, the relationship, regardless of what government is instituted there by the choice of the people. And that's all I can answer.
It is argued that there's a communist insurgency there, that the best way to play into the hands of the communists is to back someone, a dictator, who has been reelected by fraud, that the best way, it is argued, to oppose the communist insurgency is to back the forces of democracy. What about that?
Well, we're backing the forces of democracy, and the people there are voting, and they're holding their own election, and the only party in the Philippines that boycotted the election was the Communist Party. So there's very great evidence that whatever takes place, you've got two parties, and the evidence that a sizable percentage of each party has voted for a different candidate of the two candidates. So there is a solid support for both candidates there. Now, as I said before, I'm not going to comment on any of these other things while this vote count is still going forward.
Member of Parliament Aquilino Pimentel Jr. today said the opposition would ignore the visit of former U.S. Mideast negotiator Philip Habib. Habib is arriving in Manila tomorrow as President Reagan's personal envoy to initiate reconciliation talks between the opposition and the Marcos administration. Speaking to RPN News, Pimentel said he would also advise Mrs. Cory Aquino not to consider the President's invitation for her to join the Council of State.
As of the moment, we believe that Mrs. Aquino is winning, and we do not expect that we have to go to the Electoral Tribunal. But in the remote possibility that we will have to go to the Electoral Tribunal, we shall have laid down the basis for the nullification of the proclamation of Mr. Marcos.
What are your main objections as far as the procedures being followed?
Well, mainly the fact that the members of the Batasang are not immediately given the right to speak out against the anomalies, for example, committed in their own respective areas. Instead, the rules that have been adopted by the Board of Tellers merely limit the right to speak out after the report shall have been made by this board, and therefore it is more or less a circuitous way of going about the functions of tallying and canvassing the votes for the presidential candidates.
On the Batasang canvass, the legislative body failed to start the official count at 3 this afternoon. The Batasang still had its hands full with the opening of the boxes and external appreciation of the envelopes containing the election returns, with both KBL and UNIDO MPs airing their observations and objections with every batch. As of 5:30 this afternoon, about 125 out of the 134 returns already were in the hands of the Batasang authorities. After all the envelopes and boxes shall have been opened, the official Batasang count is expected to get underway. Meantime, the two groups of demonstrators at the Batasang grounds representing the KBL and UNIDO stood their ground, but with none of the friction that marked the opening day. The Batasang Speaker, Nicanor Yñiguez, today endorsed the President's proposal for the creation of a Council of State. Yñiguez expressed the hope that the opposition standard-bearer, Mrs. Cory Aquino, would accept the President's proposal. Yñiguez explained that there would be no conflict between the Council of State and the Batasang in the formulation of basic government policies.
It will diffuse all these tensions and indicate a sincere desire of the President to have the Filipino people really participate in the conduct of government, and that their interests will be duly ventilated in the highest councils of government.